The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go through all the different cards in the library that are not lands, and I've kind of broke them down in different theoretical applications. Just about every card in the deck is a 2-for-1 unless it's directly related to my win condition. And the first things we're going to kind of cover are the card draw. You need a lot of different ways to load up your hand in this format. There's a ton of removal. There's going to be land destruction. You're going to have to deal with discard. So just about everything you need to have lots of card draw to deal with it. My favorite card probably in EDH for card draw is Ristic Study. It says whenever an opponent plays a spell, you may draw a card unless they pay 1. If you're playing in a multiplayer game, which that's mostly the format that I play, Ristic Study is a real beast because you usually get 1 or 2 cards every lap around the table. You can't beat it in terms of card advantage. The next thing we're going to talk about here is careful consideration. You draw a couple of cards and then discard a couple. Not only can you kind of fix some stuff in your graveyard, but you can also move through your deck a little faster. I like the instant speed stuff, but there are some really good sorceries. Deep Analysis is just straight up gives you 2 cards and then you can flash it back for another couple. Stroke of Genius is one of the big boys. Late in the game, you can reload your hand. Occasionally, you can use this if somebody's worked their way mostly through their deck. You can deck them out. So it has a little bit of a slant application, but generally, it'll pull you 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 cards. Opportunity is just straight card draw. For 6, you get 4 cards. It's a good investment, and it's instant. Concentrate is a sorcery, draws you 3 cards for 4. I tried to go through and pick all of the very best card draw for the cost, so I got another 3 for 4 in Harmonize. Anytime green gives you cards, that's always an excellent deal. And then we're going to work on a slant kind of card here with Coiling Oracle. This guy's pretty fantastic for 2. He's a 2-for-1 that either accelerates your mana base or puts a card in your hand. One of the main reasons to play green in EDH is the access that it provides to all of the different acceleration and mana fixing. When you're playing 3-color decks, you always appreciate being able to go search out your land cards. Secure Tribe Elder is a classic example. I've chosen Wood Elves for this deck because it lets you go get a forest card and you get to put it in play untapped. So you can grab a Shockland and go get a Forest Island or a Forest Swamp and kind of fix your mana however you need. Another classic from green is Explosive Vegetation. This will let you search a couple of different basic lands and put them into play tapped. I love it when the lands come into play, so this is a real classic. Some other good ones that I don't run in the deck are Farseek, and I mean green just has all kinds of options. Kadama's Reach always seems good. Again, this one doesn't put both of them into play tap, but it's a mana cheaper, and you get one for the board and 1 for your hand. This is an unusual pick. It's kind of something that I've grown to love a little bit. I don't play very many creatures in my deck, and when I do, they usually have to do something pretty specific. I either want them countering other people's magic, or I want them to do something that's going to win me the game. In this case, Sea Guy Dash is a big old 4/4, and when he leaves play, you can have 3 forest cards and put them into play tapped. So this would get every Shockland if you hadn't hit a Shockland by that point in the game. Yavimaya Elder. Looking at this guy, I mean, he's your classic. When he goes to the graveyard, you get to search 2 basic land cards and put them in your hand. And then we're going to finish out our green with another creature that does a fine job. This guy's mostly in here for cycling. For 2 colorless and a green, you get to draw a card and then search your library for a basic land. So he's kind of a 2-for-1. And finally, a card that's really handy and comes in necessary a lot is Life of the Loam. This card will get around a ton of problems when you're playing red land destruction deck, or you're playing against a player with the black braids. There's just a number of applications, and with my sack lands, there's some synergy, and my cycle lands, there's synergy. You can't say enough about Life from the Loam. Solemn Simulacrum. Like, this guy is amazing. He does both. He's going to go and get land for you and bring it in tapped, and he's also going to draw you a card when he leaves. Any recursion with this guy is pretty sick because he's basically easy 2-for-1, if not a little better sometimes if he's a good blocker. We'll go through some classic land fixing, or color fixing, I guess. Mox Diamond, again, like I have Life of the Loam, so discarding's no problem with the land, and you see that I put a lot of land in my hand, so I can throw this down and make any of the 3 colors of my general. It's pretty sweet. Then there's just the big boys. Mana Crypt. We'll just straight generate mana for nothing, costs 0, and deals you a little damage. So I've seen people get behind this and take 18 damage or so in a game, but usually the tempo advantage is worth it. I chose to play the green-blue Signet. There's a Signet that color fixes. All these things are great for EDH. I chose this one because sometimes I have heavily taxed green and heavily taxed blue in the later game, and it's never a problem, and a little bit of artifact mana ramp is good. And that'll lead me to my very favorite EDH card for ramp. That's going to be Soul Ring. You just can't say enough about this card. Like, it's amazing. It has synergies with just about every deck. I mean, it fits in everywhere, and if you can run Tezzeret, this guy's a house. Aside from cards like Soul Ring and Mana Crypt, I like to play a Sensei's Divining Top. This card's going to let you early game kind of fix your mana. You get to dig through your deck and pull out right answers at the right time. Anytime you can get in there and dig around, it's a good thing. I'll kind of go through some of my favorite search cards. Trinket Mage is good. It'll let you grab Divining Top. I usually go get Soul Ring with it if I haven't hit that yet. Just an amazing card. Good 2-for-1. Recently in EDH, Gifts Ungiven was banned. The closest relative is going to be Intuition. You search your deck for up to 3 cards, reveal them. In my deck, I like to put my opponents at some pretty hard choices. I like to pull out 3 really good things, and then usually have a recursion, graveyard recursion card in my hand. So this card sometimes can search me up like 2 or 3 things that I really need in the game. It's pretty amazing. It's instant. Mystical Tutor is a classic. If you're going to tutor, this is an instant. It's a 1-drop, let you go through and snatch out some good counters, which is usually what I go and pick out. A cousin that Mystical Teachings is pretty excellent. You're going to be able to go in and grab an instant card, so again, the counters are going to be really nice. It has flashback, so if your opponent doesn't remove your graveyard, it'll just be sitting in there to go give you additional cards, and that would make it a 2-for-1. Love the instant 2-for-1s. Black offers a good way to get in and dig around. Liliana Vess. I strongly am going to recommend in EDH. There are so many cards in the history of the game that remove enchantments and artifacts and creatures, but there's not that many cards in the history of the game right now that just totally wipe out planeswalkers. So sometimes cards that sweep the board or have global effects will sometimes ignore your planeswalkers. Not always, like in the case of Oblivion Ring and some things that say all non-land permanents. But many times, like, the planeswalkers are even better than a 2-for-1. So Liliana Vess is pretty outstanding. You can go search and grab something, put it on top of your deck. She gets the original Vampiric Tutor without having to pay the life. But there's nothing wrong with the original, and it's an instant, 1 cost, and you can search any card on the top of your deck for 2 life. When you start with 40, that's a pretty amazing deal. The best deal available in Black Search is, of course, Demonic Tutor. It's 2, not instant, but this card grabs anything out of your deck and puts it right in your hand. It's absolutely impressive. Merchant Scroll makes the list. It's definitely a good one, and you can go in and grab blue instants at sorcery speed for 2.